Good evening and welcome back to Kiwanis Park here in Moncton. We make our return for our second trip here. This evening we will be covering New Brunswick Senior League baseball action, which will feature the visiting team, the St. John Alpines, taking on the homestanding Moncton Mets. We'll quickly go through our starting lineups here as the St. John Alpines finish their warm-ups on the field. Leading off and playing shortstop, number 16, Connor Hill. Batting second, the center fielder, number 10, Ryan Scott. Batting third, the designated hitter, number 22, Hayden Dow. Batting fourth and catching this evening, number 8, Mark Legier. Batting fifth, the first baseman, number 23, Ryan Galbraith. Batting sixth, the right fielder, number 3, Jake McCarthy. Batting seventh, the third baseman, number 36, Ben Cairns. Batting eighth, the left fielder, number 2, Cole Flowers. And playing second base and batting ninth this evening for St. John is number 46, Zach Alain. The starting pitcher for the St. John Alpines is left-hander number 22, Hayden Dow. Now the starting lineup for the home team, the Moncton Mets, leading off and playing center field, number 4, Don Goods. Batting second, the designated hitter, number 30, Sam Lund. Batting third, playing second base, number 29, Nick St. Pierre. Batting fourth and playing right field, number 6, Sean Bartley. Batting fifth, the left fielder, number 14, Jackson Decker. Batting sixth, the third baseman, number 25, Brian Smith. Batting seventh and playing first base, number 24, Jeremy Arsenault. Batting eighth and doing the catching this evening, number 15, Seth Harquail. And batting ninth and playing shortstop, number 9, Jeremy Moret. The starting pitcher for the Moncton Mets is veteran right-hander, number 7, Justin Cormier. We're a little bit late getting going here. Probably be around a 7:05 first pitch as the umpires come onto the field. The crew for tonight's game at third base is Mike Doucette. Second base this evening is Andrew Lewis. Umpiring at first base is Luke Obe. And calling balls and strikes behind home plate is Mr. Andrew Downs. We'll take a quick break as we set ourselves up here for a beautiful night for baseball here in Moncton. We'll be right back with New Brunswick Senior Baseball League action brought to you by CABC Baseball. We'll be right back in a few minutes. Welcome back as we are just about set to go as right-hander Justin Cormier finishes his warm-up pitches on the mound. Again, the St. John Alpines in town tonight providing the opposition for the Mets. St. John currently sits in 4th place in the New Brunswick Baseball League standings right now with a record of 7-10. The Moncton Mets occupying last place right now with a record of 2-16. Cormier in the season on the mound, 1 for 3 in 25 innings of work, carrying a .560 ERA as he toes the mound to face the Alpines here this evening. First pitch to him misses down and in for ball 1, and we are underway here in Moncton. Shortstop Connor Hill leads things off for the St. John Alpines. He'll be followed by center fielder Ryan Scott. And the designated hitter Hayden Dow due up there. Does that one in on the hands, popped up on the infield. It will be second baseman Nick St. Pierre who retreats a couple of steps and makes the catch. And Connor Hill is retired for the first out here in the the top of the first inning. So that will bring up center fielder Ryan Scott. He takes strike 1 from right-hander Cormier. Scott on the season, .298. He has 14 hits, 2 of them being doubles. He has 4 RBIs on the year as well. 1-1 pitch from Cormier. Fastball that finds the inside corner for strike 2. Count now, 1 ball and 2 strikes. Again, just underway here in the top of the first inning. If you're joining in on our live stream, thank you so much for taking some of your Sunday evening with us here in Moncton. That ball hit on the ground to second base. St. Pierre up with it clean, throws it on to Arsenault at first. And Ryan Scott is retired for the second out here in the top of the first. So with 2 outs, that will bring up the designated hitter for this evening's game, Hayden Dow. Dow on the season, batting .298. Has 14 hits, 5 doubles, and a home run. 7 RBIs to go along with 8 runs as he takes strike 1 from pitching counterpart Justin Cormier. Hayden Dow will be doing the pitching tonight for St. John, so they are using the Otani rule for this game, where he will act as the DH as well. That pitch misses outside for a ball. 2 balls and 1 strike now the count. Here's the 2-1 pitch. That one called a ball, check swing. They're going to check at third. Umpire says no swing. So that runs the count now to 3-1. Good hack there by Dow as he fouls that one out of play off to the left. Off the arena here just beside the park. So count now, 3 balls and 2 strikes. Cormier with a couple of shakes. Here comes the full count pitch. That one up in the zone, another check swing. They're going to check again. No swing at third. So Dow going to make his way to first with the 2-out walk. So that will bring up the catcher for St. John this evening, Mark Legier, for his first at bat of the evening. Legier batting a tidy 375 this season, 18 hits, a double and 2 home runs. He has 11 RBIs, 9 runs on the season so far. That slider misses just up for ball 1. Again, going around the field for Moncton defensively, left field Jackson Decker, in center field Don Goods, and then playing in right field is Sean Bartley. Third base is Brian Smith. Playing shortstop is Jeremy Moret. Playing second base is Nick St. Pierre. Over at first is Jeremy Arsenault as that pitch misses up and in for ball 2. Doing the catching this evening is AP call-up Seth Hartquail. And doing the pitching is Justin Cormier. So the count now, 2 balls and no strikes. That pitch going to drop in there for strike 1. 2 balls, 1 strike, the count now. Hayden Dow takes his lead from first base. He reached with a 2-out walk. Cormier comes set. Here's the pitch. Slider just misses the outside corner for a ball. 3-1. St. John first baseman Ryan Galbraith waits on deck. If the inning is extended. 3-1 pitch from Cormier. Fastball swung on and missed by Legier for strike 2. That will fill the count now. 3 balls, 2 strikes. So Hayden Dow going to be on the move on this pitch. Full count and 2 outs. Cormier has his sign and comes set. Here's the pitch. That one misses just down in the zone. And back-to-back walks now have a runner in scoring position for the Alpines here in the top of the first. As that is going to bring up the St. John first baseman, Ryan Galbraith. Galbraith batting .341 on the season. He's got 14 hits, 2 of those doubles, 3 of them home runs, 11 RBIs, and 8 runs scored. As he looks to try and add to that RBI total here in the top of the first. And if you're joining in on the stream tonight, following us along on YouTube, welcome and thank you for joining us here on Sunday evening. Beautiful night for baseball after a little bit of rain ran through the province about the last 12 hours or so. That slider drops in there for strike 1 to Galbraith. If you're watching on the stream, feel free to let us know where you're watching from. And we hope you enjoyed tonight's broadcast brought to you by CABC Baseball. That slider misses outside for ball 1. Dan Esty on the call here with you for this game. Happy to be able to bring you a small handful of games as we're home here in New Brunswick for the holidays for a little while. That pitch fouled into the netting. So the count now 1 ball and 2 strikes on Galbraith. Hayden Dow, the runner on second base. Catcher Mark Legier, the runner on first for the Alpines. Both reached with 2-out walks. As right-hander Justin Cormier tries to maneuver himself through a little bit of a jam here in the top of the first. Galbraith calls time at the plate, so he's going to dig back in and get ready to go here. So is Cormier. Here's the 1-2 pitch, hit on the line to right field, and that is going to get down and fair, just in front of Sean Bartley. Hayden Dow going to get the wave. He'll come home safely. Mark Legier going to make his way to third, and the RBI single off the bat of Ryan Galbraith has given the St. John Alpines an early 1-0 lead in this game. RBI number 12 on the season for Galbraith as he now stands at first, and there's runners on the corners with 2 outs. First pitch to right fielder Jake McCarthy in there for strike 1 from Cormier. McCarthy batting .250 on the year. He has 8 hits, 3 RBIs, 5 runs scored. He takes a pitch down for ball 1. Runners at first and third here with 2 outs. 1-0 Alpines early in this one. Big jumping lead there by Galbraith at first, but McCarthy fouls that one into the backstop for strike 2. Count now 1 ball, 2 strikes. Third baseman Ben Cairns just went to pick up that foul ball. He waits on deck. The inning is extended. Here's the pitch. That one hit down the left field line, but it is going to slice foul and out of play into the Moncton bullpen. So count's going to remain 1 ball, 2 strikes. Galbraith's going to make his way back to first. He'll touch up. Pitch from Cormier, hit on a line to first. Good play there by Moncton first baseman Jeremy Harrison. As he snags that one in the air. And that is all for the St. John Alpines here in the top of the first. But they are able to open the scoring in this one. They score 1 run on 1 hit. There were no Moncton errors. And there were 2 runners left on base. The score after 1/2 inning of play here at Kiwanis Park, it is the St. John Alpines 1, with the Moncton Mets coming to bat in the bottom of the first inning. Again, thank you so much for joining us here on YouTube this evening for New Brunswick Senior Baseball League action between the St. John Alpines and Moncton Mets, brought to you by CABC Baseball. We'll take a short break as St. John left-hander Hayden Dow makes his way to the mound to warm up. We'll be right back here in a few minutes. All right, welcome back to Kiwanis Park here in Moncton, New Brunswick. Bottom of the first inning upcoming here. Center fielder Don Good's going to lead things off for the Moncton Mets here in the home half of the first inning. He'll be followed by designated hitter Sam Lund. He'll be the second baseman Nick St. Pierre batting third. They will all be facing St. John ace left-hander number 22, Hayden Dow, who will make the start here this evening. First pitch from Dow misses up and away for ball 1. We're underway here in the bottom of the first inning. Again, the Alpines able to strike first in this one in the top of the first. That fastball finds the outside corner for strike 1. As they got an RBI single off the bat of Brian Galbraith after a pair of 2-out walks. That pitch just misses inside for ball 2. Goods on the season, batting .394, 13 hits, 3 doubles, 2 home runs. He's 3 RBIs and has scored 7 times as he takes strike 2 from left-hander Hayden Dow. Dow has the sign he wants. Here's the 2-2 pitch. Slider, that's going to be roped foul just over the heads of a few people in the left field bleachers. And that'll play. So we'll reset here again for the 2-2 pitch. That one hit on the ground to second base. Zach Alain up with that one. On to Galbraith at first. And Goods is retired for the first out here in the bottom of the first inning. So that's going to bring up designated hitter Sam Lund for his first at bat of the evening, batting .292 on the season. 7 hits, 1 double, 3 RBIs, 3 runs scored. His first pitch, the fastball in the outside corner for strike 1 from left-hander Hayden Dow. Defensively for the Alpines, we'll go through this real quick. Left field, Cole Flowers. Playing in center field, Ryan Scott, as that pitch misses for a ball. Right fielder this evening is Jake McCarthy. Playing at third base, Ben Cairns. The shortstop is Connor Hill. Playing at second base, Zach Alain. Over at first, Ryan Galbraith. And doing the catching this evening is Mark Legier. He'll be catching left-hander Hayden Dow as that slider drops in for strike 2. Here is the 1-2 pitch from Dow. Fastball, it's up in the zone for a ball. Runs the count even. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Here's the 2-2 pitch. That one going to miss just down for a ball. Good eye there from Lund as he runs the count full now. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Full count pitch from Dow. That one going to get a hit down the left field line. It will be a foul just over the Mets bullpen. And a little bit of question throughout the day with the weather, whether this game was going to be played or not. Lots of rain throughout the province as that fastball is going to find the outside corner for a called strike 3. And Sam Lund is down on strikes for the second out here in the bottom of the first. So 2 outs, that will bring up Moncton's second baseman, Nick St. Pierre, batting .358 on the season. Leads the team in hits with 19, 4 doubles. His 3 RBIs and 8 runs scored as he takes a first pitch strike from lefty Hayden Dow. That pitch will miss down for a ball. So yeah, certainly weather was going to play a factor in this one a little bit, but after a pretty heavy night of rain, the field looks great. Not too much of a show there as that one popped right up on the infield. It was going to be the third baseman, Ben Cairns, who's going to come in and take control of that one. He'll make the catch. And the Moncton Mets are down in order here in the bottom half of the first inning. There are no runs, no hits, no St. John errors. Nobody left on base. We're through 1 inning of play here at Kiwanis Park. The score, the St. John Alpines 1. And the Moncton Mets no score. And thank you so much for joining us this evening for New Brunswick Senior Baseball League action. Brought to you by CABC Baseball. We invite you to stay tuned at the end of the game. We're going to have our CABC Player of the Game presentation or announcement. Brought to you by Inked Baseball. Player of the Game will be going home with a brand new CABC hat. So stay tuned for that announcement at the end of this one. Still got lots of baseball left here in Moncton, though. We'll take a short break and be right back for the top of the second inning. All right, welcome back. We're here, top of the second inning. This New Brunswick Senior Baseball League matchup here in Moncton this evening. It is St. John third baseman Ben Cairns leading things off here in the top of the second inning against right-hander Justin Cormier. That ball hit on the ground to short. Jeremy Moray up with that one clean, gets it across the diamond to Jeremy Arsenault. And Cairns is down for the first out here in the top of the second. First pitch to left fielder Cole Flowers is ball one. He takes that fastball in the inside corner for strike one. Flowers batting .242 this season. He hits that ball on the ground to short. Nice hop there for Murray. He throws it across the diamond. That one going to sail high. Luke Obey going to stay safe. That Arsenault just brought his foot off the bag enough there. Flowers on the season with 8 hits, a double, 6 RBIs, and 4 runs scored as he's going to reach on the throwing error to the shortstop, Jeremy Moray. So that will bring up the number 9 hitter on the evening, second baseman Zach Alain. As he takes strike one from Justin Cormier. Alain batting .143 on the year. He will take strike 2. 4 hits for him. There's 1 RBI and 3 runs scored. Very quickly in a hole here. 0-2 now against Justin Cormier. That slider hit up the middle. Moray going to take that one on a hop. On to second, on to first. And that's how you make up for an error real quick right there. Nice play by Moray as he flips to Nick St. Pierre at second base on to first. That's a very tidy-looking 6-4-3 double play. And that will be all for the St. John Alpines in the top of the second inning. St. John scores no runs on no hits. There was one Moncton Mets error, and there were no runners left on base. The score after 1 1/2 innings of play here in beautiful Moncton, New Brunswick, it remains the St. John Alpines 1, the Moncton Mets no score. We'll take a quick break here from New Brunswick Senior Baseball League action. Brought to you by CABC Baseball. We'll be right back for the bottom of the second inning in a couple of minutes. So Hayden Dow back out to the mound here to start the bottom of the second inning. Quick look at our New Brunswick Senior Baseball League scoreboard from today. It's a quick one, as unfortunately the only other game on the schedule between the Charlottetown Islanders and the Fredericton Royals was postponed due to weather over on the island. They did play a pair of games yesterday, though, as they split a doubleheader over there at Memorial Field. It was the Charlottetown Islanders taking game 1 by a count of 5-1 behind a tidy performance on the mound from Tanner McLean. The Royals, though, were able to bounce back and take the back half of that doubleheader by a score of 5-3, with veteran right-hander Colby Lyle earning the win in that one. Charlottetown slugger Sam Worth picked up 2 home runs in the first game in that victory, so they will have to make up that last one at some point. But currently, those two teams sitting first and second place right now, respectively, with the Islanders a game and a half up on Fredericton right now in the standings. So things certainly tightening up towards the top end of the standings right now as right fielder Sean Bartley fouls that one out of play. Bartley batting .302 on the year as he hits that one to short center field. Both players going to call it, but it is the shortstop, Connor Hill, who takes the ball in the end and makes the catch for the first out. Bartley batting .302 on the year, 16 hits, a double, and a home run. He has 6 RBIs and has scored 4 times. Gets jammed up on that pitch, though, from left-hander Hayden Dow, and he is the first out here in the bottom of the second inning. That is going to bring up the left fielder, Jackson Decker, as he takes the pitch down for ball 1. Decker on the season batting .250 with 6 hits. He has a double and a home run. 2 RBIs. He's scored 5 times as he takes that pitch for a strike, evening the count now. 1 ball and 1 strike. That one hit on the ground towards third, and that is inside the base and fair. As he'll make the turnaround first. He's on his way to second. Left fielder up with the ball. But he just hits the cutoff, and that is a 1-out double for Jackson Decker. As he makes his way safely into second base, standing up. So the Mets with something going here in the bottom of the second inning now. They have a runner at second with 1 out. That's going to bring up Mets third baseman Brian Smith. He takes strike 1 from Hayden Dow. Smith batting .189 on the season. 7 hits. One of those a double. 5 RBIs. He's scored 3 times. As he hits that little chopper towards third base, that's going to hit something and take an immediate left, as that will be a foul ball. So the count now, no balls and 2 strikes. And if you're joining in on the stream this evening, welcome. Thank you for joining us on this cool but beautiful evening here in the Hub City. We bring you New Brunswick Senior Baseball League action as that pitch just misses the outside corner for a ball. Count now 1 ball and 2 strikes. Our second trip to Moncton, as we were here for you, or for the game on Wednesday. I guess it was for you. As the Mets walked off the defending national champion Charlottetown Islanders 2-1. That little chopper in front of the mound picked up by Dow. He throws to first, and he's able to retire Smith in time. The base runner, Jackson Decker, going to make his way to third. So runner at third, 2 outs now. It will be the Moncton first baseman, Jeremy Arsenault, who makes his way to the plate. His first at bat of the evening. Arsenault on the season batting .184. He has 9 hits. One of those a double, 1 a home run. 5 RBIs. He's also scored 3 times as he fouls that one back into the netting for strike 1. Certainly would be remiss not to talk about St. John's starting pitcher Hayden Dow as well, as he gets Arsenault to fly out to left field. Dow on the year, 2 for 2, or 2 wins, 2 losses, sorry, so far. He's currently carrying a 4.73 ERA through 40 innings of work. So unfortunately, Moncton gets the base runner to third base there, but they are unable to take advantage and get the run there as they leave him stranded. So for the Mets, they get no runs on 1 hit. There were no St. John errors. There was 1 runner left stranded on base. The score after 2 complete innings of play here at Kiwanis Park, it remains the St. John Alpines 1, the Moncton Mets no score. We'll take a quick break. We'll be right back to New Brunswick Senior Baseball League action. Brought to you by CABC Baseball in a few minutes. Justin Cormier all done with his warm-ups, and we are set to kick off the top of the 3rd inning. And it is back to the top of the order for the Alpines, as it will be shortstop Connor Hill leading things off. He takes a slider from Justin Cormier on the outside corner for strike 1. Hill 0 for 1 on the evening. He popped out to second base back in the 1st inning. Here's the 0-1 pitch. That fastball comes back on the outside corner for strike 2. So the count now, no balls and 2 strikes. Pitch from Cormier. Fastball, good hack there, and that one fouled back into the netting. Center fielder Ryan Scott waits on deck. He's due up second this inning. Designated hitter and pitcher Hayden Dow due up third. Again, St. John using the Ohtani rule this evening, as Dow is both the DH and the starting pitcher. 0-2 pitch from Cormier. Slider swung on and missed. And Connor Hill is down on strikes for the first out here in the top of the 3rd inning. First strikeout in the evening for Justin Cormier. So that will bring up center fielder number 10, Ryan Scott. So he takes a fastball and fouls it back and out of play just to our right here for strike 1. 0 for 1 on the evening. He grounded out to second baseman Nick St. Pierre back in the 1st. That ball popped up behind the plate, but that is going to sail back and out of play. Very quickly, Justin Cormier ahead in this at bat 0-2. Pitch from Cormier, hit on the ground towards shortstop. Diving play there by Jeremy Murray across the diamond. What a nice play there by the young shortstop, as he goes full extension to lay out and make the play on the infield, and able to get Ryan Scott at first base by a couple of steps for the second out in the top of the 3rd. Again, if you're joining us on the stream tonight, good evening and welcome to you. Thank you for taking some time and spending it here with us in Moncton, New Brunswick. Feel free to let us know where you're watching from in the chat as you enjoy this evening's action. As DH Hayden Dow takes that pitch for strike 1. Evening the count now. 1 ball, 1 strike. Good hack there by Dow. He fouls that one back and out of play, though, for strike 2. Just having a quick peek around the yard here. A pretty good crowd out here for Sunday evening in Moncton. Oh, it looks like a couple hundred people here, which is good. That ball laced into right field. And Dow going to make his way to first base. Hit that so hard, I thought Bartley might make an attempt to try and get him at first, but Bartley just throws the ball into second base. And just like the first inning with 2 outs, Hayden Dow able to reach, this time on a single. His last at bat, he walked back in the first inning. So with 2 outs, that's going to bring up the catcher and cleanup hitter, Mark Legier. Legier 0 for 0 as well. He also had a walk back in the first inning. Cormier going to check on the runner Dow at first. He's back safely. Cormier set. Here comes the pitch. That one hit on the ground to shortstop. Ooh, nasty hop there on the shortstop, Jeremy Murray. Looked like he was just going to hold that, but then he ends up trying to make the play at first. I don't think Jeremy Arsenault was expecting a throw there. Either way, that's going to leave the Alpines now with runners at first and third. So that one more than likely going to be charged an error there, even with the bad hop. And that throw that kind of tailed away there a bit on Arsenault, that allows Hayden Dow to make his way to third. That pitch in there for strike 2 to Ryan Galbraith. Galbraith with a little bit of a shake of the head there. I think he thought that one was a little bit low. Either way, the count now 0-2. Galbraith 1 for 1 this evening. Has accounted for the only run so far in this one, as he had an RBI single back in the first. 0-2 pitch from Cormier. That one misses down for a ball. Runners on the corners, 2 outs here, top of the third inning for the Alpines. Hayden Dow, the runner at third. Mark Legier, the runner at first. 1-2 pitch to Ryan Galbraith. Hit on the ground towards second base. St. Pierre up with that one clean. He's going to get it on to Arsenault at first. And that is going to be all for the St. John Alpines here on the top of the third, as they're going to strand a pair of base runners against right-hander Justin Cormier. So for the Alpines in the top half of the third inning, they scored no runs on 1 hit. There was 1 Moncton error, and there were 2 runners left on base. The score after 2.5 innings of play here at Kiwanis Park. It is the St. John Alpines 1 and the Moncton Nets no score. We are going to take a short break here at the park as we prepare for the bottom of the third inning. As we say hello to Cindy watching from Kitchener, home of the 22U National Qualifying Tournament in Ontario that's happening right now, as well as they are going to crown a provincial champion and see who makes their way to Canadians. Just a short trip down the road in Tecumseh, Ontario. So we'll take a short break as Hayden Dow makes his way back out to the mound. We'll be right back to the bottom of the third inning here in a couple of minutes. Good evening and welcome back. Bottom of the third inning here in the Hub City between the St. John Alpines and Moncton Mets here in this New Brunswick Senior Baseball League regular season matchup. CABC Baseball bringing you live coverage of this one. Dan Esty on the call with you. Glad you are able to join us for some of your Sunday evening. First pitch from left-hander Hayden Dow misses down for ball one. To Moncton catcher number 15, Seth Hartquail. Shortstop Jeremy Moray, he waits on deck. He's due up second. And then we're back to the top of the order for center fielder Don Goods, who will bat third. Hartquail, one of the AP players in the lineup tonight for Moncton. Not much action for him so far this year. Without a batting average as of yet. In 9 at-bats. As he takes a pitch there from Hayden Dow for strike 2. 2-2 pitch swung on and missed by Hartquail. And he is down on strikes for the first out here in the home half of the third inning. That is going to bring up the other AP player in the lineup tonight for the Mets. The shortstop, number 9, Jeremy Moray. He's up swinging, and first pitch, he hits a medium-high fly ball to center field. That is caught by center fielder Ryan Scott. And on one pitch, Moray is the second out here in the bottom of the third inning. And just like that, 5 pitches, 2 outs for left-hander Hayden Dow. As we make our way back to the top of the Moncton Mets order for center fielder Don Goods. Goods 0 for 1 tonight. Grounded out to the second baseman, Zach Alain, back in the first. He takes that slider on the inside corner for strike 1. A little bit of a conversation there with home plate umpire Andrew Downs after that one. A 1 pitch coming from Dow. Fastball that's going to get fouled out of play off to the left, off the top of the arena. So very quickly, Hayden Dow putting together a pretty efficient inning here. Pitch number 8. That slider misses up in the zone for ball 1. Count now 1 ball, 2 strikes. One-two pitch from Dow. That one going to miss down for a ball. Good job by Goods to work himself back into this count now, even at 2-2 with 2 outs. Here's the pitch. Slider hit on the ground towards first, and that's going to get past Ryan Galbraith and into right field. And the Moncton Mets with a 2-out base runner here on the single from Don Goods, his first hit of the evening. So that will extend it here for the Mets, and that will bring up the designated hitter, Sam Lund, for his second plate appearance of the evening. He was a strikeout victim back in the first inning, 1 of 2 so far this evening for Hayden Dow. That pitch finds the outside corner for strike 1. Dow with a couple of looks over at first base. Swung on and missed there by Lund for strike 2. The count now, no balls, 2 strikes. Here's the pitch. Runner takes off to second. Legier couldn't get a grip on the ball there, so he's just going to eat that play. So Good's going to get the base unscathed. And Moncton with another runner in scoring position here. The count, 1 ball and 2 strikes on the designated hitter, Sam Lund. Here's the pitch from Dow. That changeup down in the dirt. Lund able to hold his swing. And count now even, 2 balls, 2 strikes. Two pitch from Dow. Goods takes off to second. That ball is up the middle. And with Goods on the move on that pitch, he is going to score easily on that play. That is an RBI single for Sam Lund. And he has tied this game now 1-1 here in the bottom of the 3rd inning. Heads up play there from the base runner, Don Goods, as he was on the move on the pitch. And able to score easily on that single to center field as second baseman Nick St. Pierre takes that pitch for strike 1. St. Pierre 0 for 1. Popped out to third base in his first at bat back in the 1st inning. That pitch misses outside for ball 1. St. Pierre was the hero back earlier in the week from a game that we brought you here in Moncton as he hit a walk-off double against the defending national champion Charlottetown Islanders to win that game 2-1. That ball down in the dirt. Good block there from catcher Mark Lazier. He keeps the base runner Sam Lund at first. Two-one pitch. That one misses the outside corner for ball 3. And St. Pierre with himself into a hitter's count here now as it is 3-1. 3-1 slider that misses inside. And that is ball 4. So St. Pierre going to make his way to first. So Moncton with a little bit of something going here with 2 outs. As Dow was able to retire the first 2 batters on 5 pitches, but a pair of singles followed by a walk and a stolen base mixed in there. Has now tied this game and got the Mets back into it as Bartley pops that one up behind the dish. Legier going to camp under that one. And the catch is made by Legier. And that is going to snuff out the Moncton rally here in the bottom of the 3rd inning, but not before the Mets are able to tie this one up on an RBI single off the bat of D.H. Sam Lund. So for the Mets in the home half of the 3rd inning, one run on 2 hits. There were no St. John errors. And the Mets leave a pair of runners on base. We are through 3 complete innings of play here in Moncton, New Brunswick. The score, the St. John Alpines 1 and the Moncton Mets 1. We'll take a short break and we'll be right back on the other side where we will have our brief game recap brought to you by Firm Foundation Media right after this break. Stay tuned. Welcome back. We are here for the top of the 4th inning. Before we get into things, though, we'll take you through our Firm Foundation Media game recap so far. As that pitch misses down for ball 1. The Alpines got 1 run in the top of the 1st inning on an RBI single off the bat of Ryan Galbraith. The Mets, though, able to even things up in the bottom of the 3rd inning as they get an RBI single of their own off the bat of Sam Lund. And that's currently where we stand right now, as both pitchers have been doing a pretty good job so far. Left-hander Hayden Dow has allowed 1 run on 3 hits for the Alpines. The same line so far for right-hander Justin Cormier, who delivers a strike there to right fielder Jake McCarthy for strike 2. Here's the 1-2 pitch. That one up in the zone for ball 2. Mets have committed a pair of errors so far in this one. No errors as of yet for the Alpines. Cormier has his sign. Here comes the 2-2 pitch. Fastball that's hit down the left field line. The left fielder Jackson Decker going to give it a look, but that's going to sail over the Moncton bullpen and out of play. So the count remains 2 balls, 2 strikes. Here's the pitch. That one hit up the middle. Shortstop Jeremy Murray up with it clean across the diamond to Jeremy Arsenault. And McCarthy is retired for the first out here in the top of the 4th. The youngster Jeremy Murray is certainly looking like he's pretty comfortable out there at shortstop for the Mets this evening. Murray, a junior call-up to the team, playing shortstop as regular shortstop. Justin Cormier is on the hill tonight as he delivers strike 1 to third baseman Ben Cairns. Cairns 0 for 1, grounded out to shortstop back in the 2nd inning. 0-1 pitch. That one belted to right field, but it is a mile high, and that one caught up in the wind. What looked like it was going to be a fly ball to right field gets caught by the Moncton second baseman, Nick St. Pierre. And Cairns is down for the 2nd out here in the top of the 4th. As we said, a little bit of weather that came through the province here overnight. Still pretty cloudy here, as you can probably tell from the stream. But so far, knocking on wood, no rain has started to come down yet, and hopefully it looks like it's supposed to hold off for the evening. The left fielder Cole Flowers takes that pitch up and in for ball 1, and then takes that slider down for ball 2. Flowers 0 for 1. He reached on an error back in the 2nd inning to shortstop Moray. As the third baseman Brian Smith up with that one clean, he throws across the diamond. And that is a 1-2-3 inning for veteran right-hander Justin Cormier. For the Alpines, no runs, no hits, no errors, and there was no one left on base. The score after 3.5 innings of play here in Moncton, New Brunswick, it remains the St. John Alpines 1, the Moncton Mets 1. And we're going to take a short break here as we bring you New Brunswick Senior Baseball League action from beautiful Moncton, New Brunswick, brought to you by CABC Baseball. Thank you so much for joining us this evening. We're going to take a short break. We'll be right back here in a couple of minutes for the bottom of the 4th. So as we start the bottom half of the 4th inning, as we flip our scoreboard over here, we do have some defensive adjustments for the Alpines coming into this inning. It's just a straight swap between first base and pitcher as Hayden Dow now makes his way over to first base after throwing the first 3 innings in this one. And the first baseman, Ryan Galbraith, will make his way to the mound and take over now, which closes the book on Hayden Dow for this evening on the mound. 3 innings pitched, 1 run allowed. That ball hit hard to third base as Ben Cairns up with that one. And he retires Jackson Decker for the first out here in the bottom of the 4th inning. So the final line for Dow, 1 run on 3 hits. The run was earned. He had 1 walk and ends the evening with 2 strikeouts. So right-hander Ryan Galbraith retires the first batter he faces here in the 4th as he delivers a strike there to Moncton third baseman Brian Smith. That pitch missing down for ball number 1. That ball hit hard, but it will be foul just to the left of Moncton third base coach Brandon Hillier. Galbraith on the year so far for Moncton, 2-4 on the mound in 26 1/3 innings work. 35 hits allowed, 14 walks, 14 strikeouts. He's allowed 20 runs, 19 of those earned. He currently has a .505 earned run average. That pitch misses for a ball. Evens the count now 2-2. Little change up there from Galbraith, but Smith able to foul that one off and stay alive. As dark as the sky looks here in Moncton right now, the sun trying to peek out here just to our right. That one hit hard to third as well. Ben Cairns up with that one on 1 hop. He'll throw across the diamond to Dow. And Brian Smith is retired for the second out. That's a pair of putouts for Ben Cairns so far this inning, the third baseman for St. John. And that will bring up the Moncton first baseman, Jeremy Arsenault. Arsenault 0-for-1, flew out to left field back in the 2nd inning in his first at bat. First pitch from Galbraith, misses down for ball 1. Lots of action that's going to be coming up on our stream. We have one more game that we're going to be covering here while we're home in New Brunswick as Arsenault swings through that one and misses for strike 1. We will make our way to Royals Field in Marysville on Friday night, as these Moncton Mets will make their way there to take on the 12-8 Fredericton Royals in a 7:30 start on Baseball Hill. Pitch from Galbraith is down for a ball again. Count now 3-1. After that, we make our way back to the province of Ontario, but things are going to start to heat up real fast as we will be making our way to Windsor, Ontario for the long weekend in August to cover the men's AAA national qualifier tournament there to see who the representative will be for Ontario for the national tournament this year, happening in Miramichi, New Brunswick. The weekend following that, we will be back down there again, this time for the 22U national tournament, which will be taking place in Tecumseh, Ontario at Lacasse Park and Reg Chevalier Field in Woodsley. We will be part of the broadcast team for that. So lots of live baseball coming up over the next few weeks as we continue to bring you unprecedented coverage across the country here. The hope next year is to try and expand our portfolio a little bit when we're home. We are looking at trying to make a trip to Nova Scotia at some point next year to try and cover a few games down there in the Nova Scotia Senior Baseball League. So Lots of things on the go here as we try and kind of expand and grow here a little bit. This is our 4th year of operation. As Seth Harquail takes that pitch for a ball. He hits that one to third base, but it is going to dribble just foul. So Arsenault, the runner on first, he reached on the walk. Here's the pitch from Galbraith. That one misses up and away for a ball. 2-1 now the count. On the catcher, Seth Harquail. 0 for 1 struck out in the third to lead things off. Pitch from Galbraith. Down and away this time for a ball. And Harquail with himself into a hitter's count now at 3-1. Here's the pitch. That one sails outside. And Harquail will make his way to first with the walk. So far this evening, it seems the Moncton Mets have been doing all their damage with 2 outs here. After a quick pair of groundouts to third base, a pair of walks have now got them into position here to try and score again, as it's going to be the number 9 hitter, shortstop Jeremy Moret, who makes his way to the dish. Moret 0 for 1. He had a deep fly ball to center field back in that third inning as well. So Galbraith with a look in. Here's the first pitch to Moret. That fastball in the inside corner for strike 1. And 1-1 as we play here in the bottom of the 4th inning between the St. John Alpines and Moncton Mets. That ball hit on the ground towards short. Cole Flowers up with it across the diamond and able to retire Moret by a couple of steps. And that is all for the Moncton Mets here in the home half of the 4th inning.
Bottom of the 4th, no runs, no hits, no errors, and to the left after 4 complete. Inside at 1.
So for the Mets in the home half of the 4th inning, no runs on no hits. There were no St. John errors, and there were 2 runners left on base. Justin Cormier makes his way back out for his 5th inning of work, and we will take a short break before we head to the 5th inning. New Brunswick Senior Baseball League action brought to you this evening by CABC Baseball. Thank you for joining into the stream. Again, if you're looking for us this evening, we are on YouTube. All you have to do is go and search us up, CABC Baseball. We'll be right back in a couple of minutes. All right, welcome back to Kiwanis Park, New Brunswick Senior Baseball League regular season action between the Moncton Mets and the St. John Alpines. It's the first pitch from right-hander Justin Cormier in there for strike 1 against the Alpines second baseman Zach Alain. 0 for 1 on the evening. He grounded out to second base. as he takes that fastball on the outside corner for strike 2. Cormier dealing a pretty good game here so far. 1 run on 3 hits so far in this one as that pitch misses up for ball 1. Sorry, 1 run on 2 hits so far in this one. Cormier has 1 strikeout in the game and has a pair of walks as that pitch misses up as well for ball 2. 2-2 pitch coming now. Little check swing there. Alain goes around on that one. And he is down on strikes for the first out here in the top of the 5th. Again, we were down here on Wednesday evening as we watched the Mets take down the defending national champion Charlottetown Islanders by a score of 2-1 in that game. The temperature change between then and now is probably pretty significant as it has cooled off immensely here down in Moncton this evening. In my opinion, the perfect temperature for baseball right now. Not too hot, not too cold. Nice breeze rolling through the park here as that pitch misses down and in for ball 2 to the leadoff hitter, Connor Hill. He takes a mighty hack at that pitch, but comes up empty for strike 1. Hill 0 for 2 on the evening. Popped out to second base. He struck out in his last at bat in the 3rd inning. 2-1 pitch. That one fouled off the shoulder of umpire Andrew Downs. So catcher Seth Harquail going to go for a walk here. As he gives Downs a second to kind of shake that one off. So Seth Harquail will make his way back to the dish. Being a catcher for all those years, we'll catcher umpire courtesy there to give him a second to regroup and get back in there. So the count now, 2 balls, 2 strikes with 1 out here in the top of the 5th. Here's the pitch from Cormier. That pitch on the outside corner. That is a called strike 3. Hill thought that one was a little bit low, but home plate umpire thought differently, and he is rung up on strikes for the second out here in the 5th. So with 2 outs now, that will bring up the center fielder, number 10, Ryan Scott. 0 for 2 with a pair of ground outs, 1 to second. And he grounded out to shortstop back in the 3rd inning as he fouls that pitch back and out of play for strike 1. A fastball from Cormier runs down and in for ball 1. Again, if you're following along on the stream this evening, thank you so much for spending some of your Sunday with us. We appreciate you taking some time to support the site. Again, if you want to let us know where you're watching from, we're always happy to know where we're grabbing viewers from throughout not only the province, but around the country. As that pitch goes to the backstop for ball 2. Evens the count now, 2 balls and 2 strikes. That fastball going to miss the outside corner. Ryan Scott has himself a full count here now. 3 balls and 2 strikes. Here's the pitch from Cormier. Fastball in the inside corner. And again, Scott not too happy with that call. Looked pretty handy, though. As he will make his way to the bench. And that is all for the Alpines here in the top half of the 5th inning. A trio of strikeouts there for Justin Cormier. As the Alpines get no runs on no hits. There were no Moncton errors. And nobody left on base. We're into the bottom of the 5th inning as we stretch here in Moncton. The score remains the St. John Alpines 1, the Moncton Mets 1. We're going to take a short break here. Live New Brunswick Senior Baseball League action. Brought to you by CABC Baseball. We'll be right back in a few minutes for the bottom of the fifth. All right, welcome back to Kiwanis Park. Bottom of the fifth inning in this one as we are cruising right along. We're about an hour and 10 minutes into this one. Score tied 1-1 right now between the St. John Alpines and Moncton Mets, as the Mets are going to send the top of the order up here in the home half of the fifth, as it will be center fielder Don Goods leading things off for Moncton. Goods 1 for 2 this evening with a single, a stolen base, and a run scored back in the third inning. The only one scored so far this evening for the Mets, as he takes a first pitch ball from right-hander Ryan Galbraith. Swings and misses at that one for strike one. Galbraith into his second inning of work. He came into this one back in the fourth inning in relief of starting pitcher Hayden Dow. That one fouled back and out of play just to our left. Dow went 3 innings in this one, allowing a run on 3 hits before he exited and made his way to first base. Not sure if there was a reason for the short outing for him. He looked pretty sharp out there, but either way, him and Galbraith end up switching spots. And Galbraith on the mound now as he delivers a ball there for a pitch 2-2. The count now on center fielder Don Goods. Goods, the import player for the Moncton Mets this year. He makes his way here from Oklahoma. Here's the 2-2 pitch. That one misses outside for a ball. So the count full now, 3 balls and 2 strikes. Here's the pitch from Galbraith. That one belted to left field. And it is going to get down and fair just in front of the right fielder. Strong throw in there to the cutoff. Goods able to make his way into second base. I guess we should flip our scoreboard over to this inning. That might help. Looks like we're going to have a discussion here between base umpire Luke Obey as well as home plate umpire Andrew Downs. It looked like the Alpines were checking first base there, thinking that Goods might have missed the bag. So I think Obey was just going in to get confirmation from home plate umpire Andrew Downs, who said he did get first base, so the appeal unsuccessful. So Trevor Beach going to come have a quick conversation, and he'll make his way back to the bench now. So the leadoff double for Don Goods, that's his second hit of the evening. He's now 2 for 3 with a single and a double as DH Sam Lund takes that pitch down for ball 1. Lund on the evening, 1 for 2 as well. He had a single back in the third. He struck out in the first as he takes that pitch for strike 1. Lund with the sole RBI this game for the Mets, as he tied this game up back in the third inning. 1-1 pitch from Galbraith. Hit on the ground to shortstop. Good play there from Connor Hill. So he throws on to first base and retires Lund for the first out here in the inning. Solid piece of hitting there by Lund, but better play there from Connor Hill at shortstop. And the runner, Don Goods, has to hold his ground at second base. So 1 out now with a runner at second. And that's going to bring up the second baseman, Nick St. Pierre. St. Pierre 0 for 1 tonight. Popped out to third base. He walked in his last at bat. Back in the third inning as he takes ball 1 from Galbraith. That one popped up towards left center field. That one trailing back towards the left fielder. Goods tags at second. Here's the throw to third. Not in time. So nice catch out there in left field by Cole Flowers as he brings that one in for the second out of the inning. Good piece of running there from Don Goods as he's able to tag and make his way to third base. So runner at third with 2 outs here now for the Mets as they are threatening here again in the fifth. As Galbraith delivers that fastball inside corner for strike 1 to right fielder Sean Bartley, who is 0 for 2 tonight. Popped out to the shortstop. He popped out to the catcher. That ball on the ground to first. That's going to go off the wrist of Hayden Dow and out of play. So Bartley going to pick up the extra base. And the Moncton Mets now have the lead in this one by a score of 2-1 on the error. That's a tough play for Dow on that one as he kind of saw that in-between hop. Looked like he was going to wait back on it. Then he decided to come in on it and just kind of caught it on that in-between hop. As that ball ripped into left field by Jackson Decker. And the throw to the plate. Not in time as Bartley slides in safely. And Decker picks up an RBI on that play.
Third baseman number 25, Brian Smith.
So another run there for the Mets. Has now extended their lead in this one to 3-1. That ball's going to sail to play foul down the line. That pitch a strike as well, so the count now 2 balls and 2 strikes. So that ball fouled off again by Brian Smith. Sorry, too much happening here at once. We're just trying to get our scorebook updated as that pitch misses up in the zone for a ball. So the count now 3 balls, 2 strikes on the batter, third baseman, Brian Smith. He's 0 for 2 tonight. Little chopper in front of the plate back to the pitcher as well as a ground ball to third base. He swings and misses at that one. And that is all for the Moncton Mets here in the bottom of the 5th inning.
In the bottom of the 5th, 2 runs on 3 hits. There were no errors and 1 man left. After 5 complete, Mets 3, St. John 1.
So the Mets able to retake the lead here in the bottom of the fifth inning as they scored 2 runs on 2 hits. There was one St. John error, and there was 1 runner left on base. The score from Kiwanis Park after 5 complete innings of play. It is the Moncton Mets 3, the St. John Alpines 1. We're going to take a short break. We'll be right back to New Brunswick Senior Baseball League action here at Kiwanis Park, brought to you by CABC Baseball. We'll be back in a couple of minutes. All right, we are all set to start the top of the 6th inning here at Kiwanis Park in Moncton. Welcome back, and thank you for joining us here tonight on CABC Baseball as we bring you live New Brunswick Senior Baseball League action between the St. John Alpines and Moncton Mets as first baseman Hayden Dow takes a mighty hack at that pitch, but fouls it out of play down the left field line for strike 1. Dow is 0 for 1 this evening. He walked back in the first, 1 for 1 this evening. He walked back in the first, had a single in the third, and very quickly adds another single to his resume this evening as he slaps that one to left field for a leadoff single. We'll bring you our in-game recap here, brought to you by Firm Foundation Media for all your streaming needs here in Atlantic Canada. Make sure you reach out to Scott Squires as Mark Legier takes that pitch for strike 1. So far in this one, both teams traded a run in the first and third inning. Ryan Galbraith with an RBI single back in the first. It was Sam Lund tying the game up in the third with an RBI single of his own. As that pitch in there for strike 2. The Mets able to take the lead in the bottom of the last inning as they got a pair of runs in that inning, including an RBI single off the bat of Jackson Decker. That's where we stand right now in a 3-1 game between these two clubs. That pitch up and away for ball 1. The line scores so far through 5 innings of play. The St. John Alpines have 1 run on 4 hits and no errors. The Moncton Mets have 3 runs on 6 hits and 2 errors. 1-2 pitch from Cormier. Fastball, that's fouled back and out of play. Sorry, correction on the Alpines line score. It's 1 run on 2 hits and 2 errors in the field by Moncton. That pitch misses outside for ball 3. In the heart of the order with something going here for St. John now in this one. Leadoff man Hayden Dow takes his lead from first. Catcher Mark Legier at the plate. And it is the pitcher Ryan Galbraith who waits on deck. Full count pitch. That one chopped up the middle. St. Pierre takes him right across the bag. Easy throw to first. And just like that, the leadoff single is erased on the 4-3 unassisted double play. Nice job there by Nick St. Pierre as he ranges up the middle. Pretty much can't throw the ball any better than that right there as he gets the ball right at second base, able to step easily on second and throws on to first. As that ball lined just over the head of a jumping Nick St. Pierre and into right center field as Galbraith will make his way down to first. And the Alpine's been swinging it well here tonight. Just can't seem to string together hits at the right time when they have guys in scoring position. So 2 outs now and Galbraith at first base. That is going to bring up the right fielder, Jake McCarthy, as he hits a big line drive into center field just over the head of shortstop Jeremy Murray. And after the easy double play, 2 pitches and 2 singles for the Alpines now have runners at first and second with 2 outs. And the Alpines threatening here again as interim coach Mike Ivey going to make his way out to the mound for a quick chat here with Justin Cormier. There is some action down in the Moncton bullpen as right-hander Brandon Hillier has got up to start to throw down there. So Ivey with a quick chat there as he finishes up and makes his way back to the dugout. The next batter for St. John is going to be third baseman Ben Cairns, who is 0 for 2 tonight with a ground out to shortstop and a pop out to second base. First pitch to Cairns misses down and in from Justin Cormier for ball 1. Again, if you're joining in on our stream tonight, I've noticed we've been up to about 55 to 60 people at points in time throughout the evening, but thank you for taking some time on this Sunday evening to join us. We appreciate you watching this New Brunswick Senior Baseball League matchup. If you're so inclined and you want to let us know in the chat where you're watching from, always greatly appreciated to know where folks are watching from around the country. As that ball hit on the ground between second and first. Nice play there by Nick St. Pierre, and he throws on to Jeremy Arsenault at first. And the St. John Alpines rally gets thwarted again by a nice defensive play there from Nick St. Pierre as he's able to range and make that play and record the third out. So for the Alpines in the top of the 6th inning, they get no runs on 3 hits. There were no Moncton errors, and St. John leaves a pair of runners on base. We head to the home half of the 6th inning here at Kiwanis Park. The score, it is the Moncton Mets 3 and the St. John Alpines 1. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back to New Brunswick Senior Baseball League action. Brought to you by CABC Baseball. We'll be right back in a few minutes. Ryan Galbraith back out to the mound here in the bottom of the 6th inning as he's out for his 3rd inning of work. He takes over from starting pitcher Hayden Dow, who went the first 3 in this one. As he allowed a run on 2 hits. Apologies. We're in the middle of the order here for the Mets in the 6th. As it's first baseman Jeremy Arsenault set to lead things off here against Galbraith. That ball hit down the first base line, foul. So the count 0-1 on Arsenault. Arsenault 0 for 1 tonight, flew out the left field. He walked in his last at bat. Here's the 0-1 pitch. Changeup, throws the hands out of that one, hit the right field, and that is going to get down in front of Jake McCarthy. And the leadoff batter aboard here for the Mets in the home half of the 6th. The first hit of the evening for the first baseman Arsenault. And that will bring up the catcher. 22U call-up Seth Harquail. Harquail so far this evening, 0 for 1. Struck out. And walked in his last at bat as that ball unable to get picked up there by Galbraith. And Harquail going to reach on the infield single. And the Mets now with a pair of runners aboard. And that's going to bring up shortstop Jeremy Murray, who is 0 for 2 tonight. Flew out to center. Ground out to shortstop is St. John bench boss Trevor Beach going to make his way to the mound for a chat. Looked like Galbraith might have come off the mound a little bit gingerly there. So it looks like Beach is making the trip here to probably make sure he's okay, but also just to get the defense set up here is more than likely with nobody out and runners at first and second. Moncton going to try and lay down a bunt here. Hard to say, though. You never know. In this situation, a lot of coaches have differing opinions, whether you play for the big inning or you attempt to move the runners over and possibly give up an out. So we'll see what happens here as Murray steps in. Here's the first pitch as he squares the bunt, pulls the bat back, and takes ball 1. Again, 3-1 Moncton Mets as we play here. Bottom of the 6th inning in this one against the St. John Alpines at Kiwanis Park in beautiful Moncton, New Brunswick. Here's the pitch, squares the bunt again, pulls back, and takes that pitch down for ball 2. Two balls, no strikes to count here on Murray. As Coach Mike Ivey goes through a series of signals down at third base. 2-0 pitch from Galbraith. Squares the bunt again, gets this one down. Good play there from Dow as he gets the tag on Murray going to first, and then he tries to throw to third base. Pretty athletic play there by Dow as he's able to get the tag down immediately. Both runners able to advance, though. So the sack bunt does what it's supposed to do and gets 2 runners into scoring position for the top of the order, which happens to be Moncton center fielder Don Goods. Goods so far this evening. 2 for 3 with a double and a single, a pair of runs scored, and a stolen base. As he comes up now with a pair of runners in scoring position. That is going to pull the St. John infield in as he swings at the first pitch, pops it up on the infield. Third baseman Ben Cairns with the call, and Cairns with the catch, as that is a big, big out for Ryan Galbraith, as he's able to get the red-hot Don Goods. Goods in Galbraith sharing a little bit of a laugh there. Looks like Goods might have motioned that he just missed that one by a little bit, and he did as he popped that one right up on the infield. So Galbraith will go to work now against designated hitter Sam Lund, who takes first pitch strike. That one hit on the ground towards first. That is going to go foul. As Hayden Dow ranges over to pick that one up. So Galbraith one pitch away from getting out of this jam, as he has 2 strikes on the batter, Sam Lund. Lund on the evening, 1 for 3 with a single. Also had an RBI attached to that single back in the 3rd inning. 0-2 pitch. Changeup swung on and missed. Tag applied by Legier. And Galbraith able to get himself out of a bit of a mess there, unscathed here in the bottom of the 6th. So for the Mets in the home half of the 6th inning, they scored no runs on 2 hits. There were no St. John errors. And the Mets leave a pair of runners on base. As we head to the top of the 7th inning. And that will bring Mets closer Brandon Hillier into this one, as he looks to try and shut the door on win number 3 on the season for the Moncton Mets. The score after 6 complete. It is the Moncton Mets 3, St. John Alpines 1. We'll take a short break as we bring you New Brunswick Senior Baseball League action live on CABC Baseball. We'll be right back for the top of the 7th in a couple of minutes. So some defensive changes for the Moncton Mets as we enter the top of the 7th inning. Mets closer Brandon Hillier going to make his way into this one. That will wrap up the evening for right-hander Justin Cormier. Pretty sharp outing for the veteran right-hander. He allows only 1 run. On 7 hits. He also ends up collecting 4 strikeouts, so he currently is in line for the win right now, as Hillier comes into this one to try and lock down the save for him. 8-9-1 due up for the Alpines here in the top of the 7th, as it will be left fielder Cole Flowers to lead things off against Hillier. That first pitch hit on the ground towards short. Jeremy Murray up with that one clean. A little bit of a high throw, but Arsenault able to reach up and snag that one. And 1 pitch, 1 out here for Hillier in the 7th. On the ground out to Jeremy Murray. So it does look like we're going to get a pinch hitter here for the Alpines is number 6, Tyler Doucette. Going to take some swings here in place of second baseman Zach Alain. Hillier delivers strike number 1 to him. Hillier on the season 1-1. Currently with a 12.25 ERA and only 4 innings of work. That ball hit on the ground to short. I'll tell you what, that young man has had a pretty good game out there tonight for the Mets as Jeremy Murray again comes in and very slickly picks that one up, throws on the run, and retires Doucette at first base for the second out. The Alpines down to their final out now as they head back to the top of the order. For shortstop Connor Hill, who's 0 for 3 tonight with a pair of strikeouts, and he popped out to second base back in the first. That fastball back over the outside corner for strike 1. Reminder to stay tuned after this one. We will have our Inked Baseball CABC Player of the Game. We'll be delivering them one of our brand new CABC hats that were put together by our friends at Inked Baseball, so we thank them for their support. 1-1 pitch from Hillier. That ball belted to right field. That's going to get held up in the wind. Bartley trying to get over there. So is Nick St. Pierre, and neither one of them able to make the catch as that one lands foul and out of play. So the count now 1 ball and 2 strikes as Connor Hill going to make his way back to the dish with the Alpines down to their final out in this one. That ball hit on the ground, and how else would you want to end the game? Another ground ball to shortstop Jeremy Murray, as he makes all 3 putouts here in the 7th inning. And Brandon Hillier able to lock down the win here for right-hander Justin Cormier for the Mets in the top of the 7th inning. They scored no runs on no hits. There were no Moncton errors. No runners left on base. The final score here from Kiwanis Park. The Moncton Mets improved to 3-16 on the season as they defeat the St. John Alpines by a score of 3-1. The Alpines drop to 7-11 now on the year. Our CABC Inked Baseball Player of the Game is Mets starting pitcher Justin Cormier. He goes 6 innings to pick up the win in this one, allowing only 1 run on 4 hits. Cormier, the winning pitcher. It is Brandon Hillier who picks up his first save of the year. The losing pitcher in this one is right-hander Ryan Galbraith. We appreciate everyone taking the time to come on and join us throughout our time here in Moncton. We had a blast bringing you these 2 games while we were home. Next action you'll see for us is July 24th. On Friday evening, we make our way to Baseball Hill in Marysville, as it will be the Moncton Mets making their way there to take on the 12-8 Fredericton Royals in a tilt in Marysville. That's going to be all for this evening, though. Thank you so much for joining in. We appreciate the support, both for the live stream as well as the website. We hope you enjoyed this evening's broadcast, and we will see you this coming Friday in Marysville. Take care, and we'll talk soon.